I've been asked to explain Pentagame quickly, which I'm of course happy to do. This is a magnetic board. Pretty sure yours will look very much the same. It depicts a pentagram star and within a circle. And so these are all different stops in our game. Also these are stops where this is one stop, so 1, 2, 3, 4 stops. And the first thing that is obviously the case is that they are always the same color stops opposite. So these corner stops here and the crossing stops here are both blue, these are yellow, these are red, and so on. And this is important for the game. Now, Pentagame is an abstract board game. It's a strategy game. It does not include dice or any kind of chance. So that is very nice. It usually comes with pieces, like in a moment like this one's. But that could also be other ones like these ones, which, well, doesn't really matter as long as certain qualities are fulfilled. You can easily also make your own, I suppose. Because in the German video, which is also up, I've been using these ones. I'll be using those ones now. So maybe you want to call these the English ones. Now we have quite a lot of pieces, and we need to sort them, of course. So first, take these gray ones out. They are kind of in the game for later, and we just put them in the middle. This is a bit more difficult here since they are magnetic, so it's all kind of sticking together. Okay, so 5 gray ones. Then we have black ones. Black ones don't belong to any player. They are simply called blocks or charms. Some people say charms. That's more charming, I suppose. They are to be positioned on the crossings. Now all the other pieces belong to players, and we have to also sort them out. And it is so that every player plays a shape, or a party of whatever it could be. In this case we have stars, moons, triangles and squares, which is great for the setting because you can probably see that relatively clearly. But otherwise you could also have 5 witches and 5 cats or 5 aeroplanes or whatever you choose. You can really easily relatively easily make them yourselves and have your own individual set, which is of course masterclass. Now in this case, every player has to choose one party. This is important because that's different to what people are sometimes used to. Particularly adults are sometimes a little bit have it harder than kids to realize they are a form now, not a color. So you're either this one or that one or that one or that one. So to make things easy, I'm going to explain the rules, which are very simple rules. And now I'm going to restrict myself to the 2-player case, which will be the stars and the triangles. So I can, for now, get rid of the pieces. However, Pentagame can be played with 2 players, 3 players, or 4 players, and the rules are always exactly the same. So that is quite comfortable. So you can play with 2 players, and somebody sees you playing and says, "I want to join." You can just give them a set of pieces, set up, start playing. Very nice. Okay, so every player has 5 pieces of 1 color each, and they begin their parcours, their path on the corners of their color. So subsequently, all the green ones sit here on the green, the blue ones here on the blue, the red ones here on the red, and the white ones here on the white stop. Now, the aim is to bring pieces to the corresponding colors opposite. So all the green pieces try to reach the green stop, the white ones strive to white, the blue ones aim at blue, the red ones try to reach red, and the yellow ones subsequently have no choice but to go to yellow. So whoever manages that with 3 pieces wins. Yeah, so how do you get there? Well, since there are no dice, you can just simply move. So if you are stars, you can just go this way, or you could go this way, or this way, as far as you like. Here, this way, as far as you like, and also in any direction you like. But there's one important rule: you are not allowed to jump over anything. So if something is in the way, like in this case, you want to go this way, and then there's this thing, you cannot jump over it. That's not possible. So you have to either stop in front of it, or think about something entirely different, or, and this is nice, you can just go there and, well, beat this or eat this block, which is, so that works this way, that you eat the black block. And this is what we call a replace move. And because you replace that, you put it somewhere else, on a free stop, where you believe it strategically be more favorable for you to be there. So a place which probably I would tend to believe blocks my opponent more than myself, because we both have the same goals. But yeah, it will very soon differentiate which paths are interesting for whom. So there was one move, the simple move, you just go somewhere, or the replace move. Now there's another nice thing you can do, like when there's another player's piece, then you can also not jump over it. So here again you couldn't jump, but you could go there, and then this is a swap move. So basically this thing goes back to where this one comes from in the same move. So it's like a swap. If it be like this, for instance, and this wanted to go here, then this one would come here again, a swap. And this is very useful to do that with your own pieces, because you can kind of like shuffle around a little. You actually move two pieces at once. You can do that with your own pieces. You can also do that with other players' pieces. So for instance, if a star wanted to go here, then you could do that. It's a legitimate move. However, in this case, kind of a triangle has to accept that, because if triangle does the same, then star is not allowed to do the very same attempt twice. This is a core rule, if you want. It prevents stalemates. So now I have to think about something else. In a three-player game, that doesn't really matter much, because if two do this all the time, then the third one is going to win. So the two will probably think about whether that makes sense. In a two-player setting, it pretty much makes only sense to do this in only certain situations, and generally it's kind of interesting, attractive to focus on your ability to swap with yourself. So that is already a hint towards strategy. So again, simple move, replace move, or swap move. Now, if a path is open, like say this path is open, then you can also turn corners in one move. You don't have to stop. You can just go around. So in this case, even say it'd be like this. The red could go here and reach its goal. Now for reaching your goal, hello, yay! You remember 3 out wins. You move out, go in, and that's great because 3 wins. And for this one that moves out, you get one of these blocks. They are also blocks similar to the black ones, but the difference is these are one-time blocks only. So I can again put this anywhere, so maybe like blocking this guy, for example. Remember the difference, so these blocks, if we eat them, they go somewhere else. But if we eat this one, we simply move out again, a one-time block. Yeah, and that's the whole of the rule. That's the whole of the law. That's all. Pretty simple. Simple move, replace move, swap move. Get a gray block when moving out, which is a one-time block. Everything else is strategy, and there's actually quite a lot of strategy towards it. You will find out very quickly that this becomes very, very, very strategic. Nevertheless, we have thought about it also, and there are... The game tree, the amount of possibilities that we have here is very, very large. So there are really billions of possible paths or parcours or so that the game can take. And we observe the players do get better quite steeply. The learning curve is there. Yeah? the beginning you're a little bit confused, but once you play it once or twice, it's actually very clear, and then it's more interesting because there are some moves which are better than others, but nevertheless it's an unsolved game. So we haven't had a AI yet to crack this, and we had some tournaments. Yes, we had, and we enjoy playing it. We've been playing it for many hundred times, pretty much every week, a couple of days. And it doesn't get boring. We have more and more players, and it keeps fascinating. And every game is different. So to conclude the video, I'd like to make the practical. I have a little practical exercise in that I'm just making some typical opening moves, and there are basically only two ways you can start the game. Either you swap on the ring. Oh, and only at the beginning of a game can it be that there is more than one piece, of course. So if I move to a place here where there are two, then I have to choose one that I swap with. No? So I can do this, for example, which is a quite strong move because I have moved two for the price of one, and this goes here, or that goes here. So both of them are getting closer to where they want to be. And yeah, this could continue like that, or this could continue like that, whatever my plan is and my opponent allows me. So this is the swap move. Now let's say triangle answers in a different fashion, and for instance replace and moves into the circle, replaces this block, and might, for instance, for example, block here so that this red piece does not go here, and so on. Now, what could star do? Star could, for example, say, well, yeah, I could, for instance, go here still, but then, well, maybe put this here so that this white one is blocked in this path, and I'm going that way. So this is possible. It's one of the many possible moves. It's quite an interesting situation now because you might tend to think that if triangle moves now here, then that would bring star out, which is true. Because if you do that, then, well, that's triangle's move. Now red's move is simply to move out. So red doesn't. Star's move is to simply move out. It doesn't get. She doesn't get another move. Which is important when you play with three players, because you might passively bring somebody there. The order of playing remains the same. So basically, that person that gets passively to reach a goal only gets out once it's her turn. Now, so white wouldn't do that, really. That's not so good. So this is a little confusing. So what would white do? Probably just move here and stand in the way so that this cannot happen. Because now obviously this looks symmetrical, but then this solves that. So and then if it's star's move, then this is a bit of a block. So a good move for star could, for example, then be to just go here to keep the pressure up. Also advances in front of green, and well, put this anywhere else, and so the game continues. Because now, obviously, triangle has to do something here, so maybe you just I don't know. Yeah, so because of this threat, which is a quite severe threat, because if this comes here, then green would get a black block to position and also get a gray block for moving out, which is what we call an abracadabra move, very strong move. And this is something that triangle really doesn't want. So you could, for example, just go there with maybe like this piece. So at least there's no black piece. And then either you kind of allow this to happen, or if you don't, then probably just put that there. So this could be a possible solution to that threat. And so it continues. And a typical game for two players is pretty fast. It takes about 15-20 minutes, maybe. Depends on how much consideration time you have. And it consists of about 12-15 moves. The game always ends. Always ends. That's proven mathematically. So if it's 12 times, and every time you have 5 pieces, which are pretty much positioned on nodes and have about like, what, 4 different options to go. Actually more, because once you take a block, you can have 100 possibilities to put it. So, but if you just say it's 20, then 12, it's like 20 times 20 times 20 times 20, 24 times. So you have a game tree, which really is very large. So this is what I'm saying. It's always different. There's no patented solution, and there's no dominant strategy that is immediately seeable. We had a number of attempts, and yes, we have found some traps and strategies, but usually also when thinking about it closer, we found some ways to counteract these things. So there's a lot to be learned. And yeah, it's a fascinating game, I believe, and I wish you much joy with this discovery, really. The probably only reasonable game played on a pentagram, so Pentagame. Thank you very much.